Hello chess family, it's me Nash the Master, Jesse James, and today we're going to take a look at the French defense versus the King's Indian attack. That's right, all you French defense players, the King's Indian attack is a very strong opening, but we're going to teach you some good ways to develop your pieces that is going to greatly reduce White's attack. Let's go for it. Here we go. We start up with e4, e6, pawn to d3. This is already saying they're going to be playing the King's Indian attack. Pawn to d5, let's keep up with our French defense. Here White plays knight to d2, an important move because, well, if you don't play this after pawn takes, Black can just trade queens here. And we just continue with our French defense. Pawn to c5, knight g to f3, knight to c6, and here a very interesting way to play the King's Indian attack. White goes ahead and plays bishop to e2. Now this is still a King's Indian attack, it's just a different version of it. With that being said, most people are pretty much used to pawn to g3, bishop g2. I'll be going over another one of those games later on. With that being said, we do have a very good coach for these games. As you can see, Capablanca playing the black pieces, one of the world's best chess players in history, is giving us a masterclass here. And well, we got Aaron Nimzovich, also one of the world's best chess players, unfortunately just not as good. And here, because of that, you can see he plays bishop e2, not the superior g3, at least in my opinion. Alright, here we go. Bishop d6 gets played, a very good move here. You're going to see Capablanca overprotecting this e5 square. In these King's Indian attacks, White is usually trying to get the pawn to e5 to gain extra space, and well, go for a kingside attack over here. With that being said, here Capablanca knows this and is able to go ahead and cover that square quite nicely. Here we go, White goes ahead and castles. Queen c7, again focusing on this e5 square. White plays rook e1, definitely plans in the future about playing e5. And here, a very important move. Here, Kappa plays the knight to e7. Very, very important. Why is this important? Well, again, like I said, a lot of times e5 can be a very touchy square here. If White gets control of this one, it helps build up the kingside attack. And if you do play the knight to f6, this is typically a good square for it, but you can see that it can walk right into this e5 square. Now, Kappa did a good job because he overprotected this. With that being said, the knight ge7 variations I like very much. It even lets you try to expand on the king side later on with f6 or f5, as we actually will be seeing soon. And so here, even if they do get the e5 in, not that they would do it anytime soon, here the knight can even jump to g6 and again put pressure on e5. So the pawn on e5 can actually become a target in many of the games. Alright, back to the game. After knight to ge7 got played, here White played pawn c3. Again, continuing with their idea. Here they're looking to play d4, e5 in the future. Castles happens over here. And here we go, White goes ahead and plays pawn to a3. Because White did not go the g3 setup, you can see it's really hard for them to build up their kingside attack. And well, since Kappa has pretty much already conquered the kingside with his pieces, here White has decided to go ahead and go queenside over here. So a3 is definitely a preparatory move to play pawn to b4. Alright, here we go. Black to move. What does Kappa play? Here the idea of the knight going to e7. Here comes the pawn to f5, enticing Black to go for White to go ahead and take on either one of these. It does not matter where you take. It is only going to help out Black here. And with that being said, White went ahead and played bishop f1, hoping that Black will take. Kappa is in no such move, and yet he keeps developing pieces. Bishop to d7. Pawn takes on d5. Here White could not keep up with that tension. Pawn takes on d5. Now you see there's a nice open file here. And, well, the f pawns over here. I mean, Black's pieces are just looking really nice over here, looking toward this king side. And here White tries to go ahead and disrupt this and plays pawn b4, saying, hey, look over here on the queen side. Remember, when you're playing your game, concentrate on your best attacking chances. In this case, definitely Kappa has an advantage in the center and also on the king side. So don't be playing on the queen side here unless you can see, well, ways to win material. Even then, if you're winning material, White will probably be better placed for this, so you don't want to go into these variations altogether. Here Kappa keeps up with his plan. Rook a to e8, and the bishop jumps to b2 right here. And, yep, I could definitely understand that. Where else was the bishop going to be moving to? Here Kappa plays it nice and slow. Pawn to b6, just making sure this pawn is guarded. And here, well, Mr. Nimzovich makes a very bad move, and he plays pawn to d4. All right, strategy thinking. Black to move. What do you play here? Should we take on d4, play pawn c4, or pawn takes on b4? Okay? Remember, this is not a fast tactical win. This is long strategic thinking. What do you play here? All right, hopefully you push pause. Try to look at a few moves here. What was the best move? Simple chess. Here you play pawn to c4. How is this so simple? Well, think about it. Remember, we mentioned here, black is trying to go for a kingside attack and also trying to close the center here. Why? Because if you open up the center, now white will get some good counterattacks over here. And, well, what is white's plan? White wants to go queenside and open up the center. Okay. Whenever you play pawn takes, now it is white who has the advantage. You can see that the queen side is opened up. There's an open c file here. It's really hard to conduct your attack because white's going to be attacking you over here. So it's really hard. You're going to go over here. They're going to attack you over here. It's going back and forth. So to play pawn c4 is definitely best. Taking on b4 definitely is not the best either here. You even give white the option of playing pawn takes on b4, which now gives the rook the open file here. And actually, computer likes this one the most if you do take over here. With that being said, Kappa already knows these rules and plays pawn to c4. And now, well, which bishop do you think is stronger for white? The light square bishop or the dark square bishop? Trick question, they are both bad. No, at this point, white is definitely in a very bad position here, and Kappa's just on cruise control over here. It was so bad that Mr. Nipsevich over here did not want to play in this position, so he goes ahead and goes for the attack. He plays knight takes c4. He does not want to get binded. He'd rather go ahead and attack and then just go ahead and fade out. Pawn takes on c4, bishop takes on c4. So we did get 2 pawns for the piece, which is not such a bad deal. You know, you get 1 more and the game will be around equal. The king goes to h8, and here was his idea, knight to g5. Here this does look quite menacing. As you can see, knight f7 check is being threatened, queen to h5. At this point, white would definitely be having really good chances for getting an advantage. With that being said, Kappa does not look impressed. He simply says, oh, free pawn. Takes on h2 check, king over to h1, and then bishop back to f4, saying, you know what, it does not matter. Here, if you do try to play your queen to h5 over here, well, you are threatening all these different things, but now with the bishop f4, I'm just going to go ahead and trade. And obviously, when you make trades here, well, you're taking away the attackers, and the more trades, the better. If you go to the endgame, you're just going to be up an extra piece. At this point, black already has a position of -6. All right, back to the game. Here, after the bishop went to f4, here, white went ahead and played knight f7 check, as there was nothing better. I mean, here, Kappa could make a mistake and play something like king g8. At that point, well, now white has a few good moves here. You can play their queen over to h5, which actually does give a nice little advantage to white. Or you can just try to keep going back and forth with knight g5 check, knight f7 check, and hope for a draw. With that being said, of course, Kappa had already calculated this. What do you play here? Of course, we're just going to sacrifice. Rook takes on f7. Bishop takes on f7. We got 2 pieces for the rook and a very good attacking position. The king is pretty weak here. Kappa finishes this game off very nicely. Rook over to f8, bishop to h5, knight to g8. Here the knight's reorganizing himself, and as you can see here, hopefully, the e4 square looks like a very scrumptious square here. Pawn c4 got played. You can see here now that, well, Nipsevich's idea is not totally bad, as the pawns are starting to march forward over here. Queen to d8. Uh-oh, be careful. Checkmate over here on h4 is definitely being threatened. White played queen to f3. And here we go, queen to h4 check. Here, queen to h3 got played, and queen takes on f2. Things are looking quite menacing over here. Rook e2 got played. Definitely a move here. I think it's a nice one to go ahead and defend the bishop and double up the rooks. Although, here Kappa just plays queen to g3, saying you want to go for an endgame here. And, well, this is all but kind of forced. I mean, if you don't take, then you're going to get this bad pawn structure. So he goes ahead and takes. And, well, I'm sure Nimsevich was, you know, a little bit more optimistic at this point. But Kappa crushes his dreams really fast. Here, he went ahead and played pawn c5. And knight c2 e7 here. Yeah, c5 does not look like it was the best move here. Probably pawn to d5 looks like a much stronger version. Although I think knight to e7 still gets played. Our pawn to c5 got played. Now we see there's a hole right here, so let's go ahead and fill it. Knight over to e7. Bishop to f3, trying to play d5 here and maybe push these pawns forward. Bishop to b5 gets played. Very nice tempo. One of the nice ideas with the bishop g3 is also guarding this e1 square. Rook over to c2, again saying, hey, maybe I can go ahead and push for a passed pawn. But black just has so many pieces over here. Knight f6, pawn to a4. Bishop to d3. Now we're going to conquer this e4 square and make some trades. Rook over to c1. And here we go, knight to e4 here. At this point now, things have gotten really bad. Here the bishops have taken really good squares. The knights are all looking at great squares, and our rook is going to be coming into the game. Believe it or not, Kappa finishes this game off in just a few moves. pawn to b5. These past pawns look menacing, but now with this cantankerous move here, black is able to force checkmate. What did he play here? Simple chess. Here we go, rook to f6, and there's no way to stop this checkmate from happening. Here, bishop takes on e4 was played, and here, Kappa does not miss it. He goes ahead and plays bishop f2. A very nice move, setting up Greco's checkmate pattern over here. Of course, if you take the bishop over here, it is rook to h6 for check and mate. Wait a second, can't we just play something like pawn to g3 or g4? That's exactly what Kappa wants. Now we'll take on e4 on tempo for a check. And after king h2, rook h6 is going to be checkmate. At this point, after bishop f2, white just went ahead and resigned. Remember, guys, if you are enjoying this content, go ahead and give us that like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.